Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring your girl, Jewerly Bonney. Get ready for a very, very spicy deck profile featuring OP10 here on the channel, let alone a leader in which has become my new main in the game of One Piece. Now, I have other decks I do play on the side. I played a lot of Enel recently in OP08, OP09, and a little bit in OP07. We played around with a lot of Yamato in the beginning of OP06 and thus forth. We played around with a lot of Katakuri here. At least when it comes to those four decks, I don't really play much a lot of anything else outside of Birdcage Doflamingo. And that's pretty much it for me. When it comes to meta-defining decks, I'm not one that plays things that are super oversaturated. At the time when you saw Doflamingo and Rob Lucci and like BY Luffy running around and stuff, I didn't put content out on these decks just because they were everywhere, right? They didn't really have a whole lot of oomph behind them. You saw one deck, you saw them all. Now, being an OP10, Jewerly Bonney has gained some new toys, yes, but previous decks that I was running around with, like Katakuri, he's not necessarily like super competitive right now. He has gained some new stuff in OP09 which is like the electromagnetic cannon, the 4-drop event. Sure. Enel, we all know he's got the Banhammer. Raigo is gone. This deck right now would be considered a rogue deck. EBO2 is right around the corner though. So, 10-drop Enel comes out. You will see this deck flourishing again, at least I hope so. Especially if you're playing around with a Skypiea variant, which can be rush, very aggressive. So stay tuned for that one. That's coming here soon. And of course, we did put out content recently when it comes to Yamato. Another one of my favorite decks to play right now in the current metagame. And speaking of which, the meta has shifted to very aggro. Shanks, Zoro being some of the best decks in the current format. Very hard decks to deal with right now for everything else. Removal decks took a hit, so black decks like Rob Lucci, Smoker, Gecko Moria, of course, no longer have Gecko Moria or Ice Age. Makes it a little bit harder for these decks to compete. Now, you will see a lot of Rob Lucci players still, but you will only see very good Rob Lucci players, if that makes sense. This deck is going to take a lot more skill. The skill ceiling is definitely higher. So do keep that in mind. I don't think I'll see a lot of these in the upcoming regional, but that goes to say. Very strong deck, one of the worst decks for me to run into, but I digress. Now, Blackbeard being in the current metagame, this is another deck in which people don't want to play into, don't want to play. It's very boring, to be fair, but not being able to play your own deck with your own plays is kind of just unfun. That doesn't mean Bonney has a bad matchup into this. It's very hard for Bonney to get around this when all of your stuff wants to be on play. And you have to play against Teach in a way where you can win a game, but you can win a game by using Hody Jones without ripping your own life. So you have to use his ability against him occasionally, and sometimes it kind of bites him in the butt. Other times it just... you don't see this, and it makes the deck, or it makes the game very, very difficult. Now, Bonney, on the other hand, has numerous top-end pieces in which she can flex around and change the deck out to adapt to certain situations. Whereas, everybody and their brother is telling you that if you're playing against Shanks, okay, how do we counter Shanks? Well, at 10 Dawn, your boy drops down 10 cost Shanks, which makes your use to Skid kind of like a baby, okay? It's really more so a child at this point, because he goes from 8k to 7k, which makes it very easy for Shanks to deal with him. And even if he doesn't drop Shanks, there's another very strong card that Shanks is utilizing, such as Gum Gum Mulgun here and Divine Departure. Both of these will just remove this for free, typically. This will make it minus 5,000 power, and then he can just run into it. So you have to have the Tashigis on board, the Rosinantes, with the kid to even have a chance of surviving that matchup. Or everybody and their brother is telling you to use the 9-cost Shanks. Well, this is very, very good into the matchup until you run into a very good Shanks player, in which on 10 Dawn they drop the 10 cost Shanks, they don't swing with it, which makes it very awkward for you, especially when you plan to drop this to counter theirs. You see what I mean? It's kind of a who sees more top in will typically win this matchup, and I assure you, it's very difficult. Just due to the fact that with Bonney, you want to have cards like Cavendish and Smoker on board to be able to use a lot of your other abilities here in the deck list. So by going first, right, your opponent's going to go second, of course. So on 5 Dawn, they go into 7 Dawn, they drop the Beckman on board, and they typically would just pop the Cavendish. There are times where you can play Cavendish down, and then you have 3 Dawn left over. You have to drop the Tashigi. Yes, you have 0 Dawn left for your leader ability, but if you drop the Tashigi, then they can't pop this with the Beckman. So there are certain plays and stuff you have to consider before you make certain moves. Because ideally, in most matchups with Bonney, you want to leave 1 Dawn up. But on curve, when you're playing down the Cavendish, you don't really have any other choices other than dropping down a Tashigi to make sure it's safe, or a Rosinante, that's what you have in your hand. Rosie won't help you here because this card is active, not rested. Therefore, they can just easily remove this with Beckman. There are certain ways that you have to play into Shanks, which is kind of difficult if you don't see all the pieces right away. You know how that is. The other good cards in that matchup that I've noticed are going to be things like Carrot that keep certain cards rested, like the Hongos, some of the blockers on board that you can force rest with your leader ability, which is very, very nice. Now, this list here is just my first iteration that I showed you guys recently on the channel. I've done different variations of Bonney here. We'll go through them, and I'll talk about why I chose certain things, what's my thought process between it, and we'll play a bunch of games here on the channel as we typically do. Now, like I said, when it comes to top end, I've utilized 4 8-cost kids, and I felt like that's too much, and I want to cut this down to 3 because I feel like 3 is that sweet spot. Not only because this is searchable with Jewerly Bonney, but more so I don't want to see this guy multiple times a game. If I can see him twice after they remove him the first time, awesome. If I see him 1 time against a deck that really, really helps out, great. If I need to find him again, I can search him out with Bonney. Having 4 of these, or getting 1 off life, 1 in hand already, and then drawing into 1 just feels really, really bad, knowing that there's 1 more in the deck that you haven't seen yet, and you're going to draw into that eventually. Having 3 is great, just because you have the 0-cost event to pitch it if need be, but 4 just feels like it's too clunky for me, and that also goes with Shanks here. Shanks, I've been running this typically at 2 to 3. A lot of people are running 3 to 4, just because they counter out, 10-cost Shanks here. But the more I play into this deck, the more players are learning not to just swing right away with the 10 cost, which makes it kind of awkward for you to be able to drop this and not pop anything. So I've cut this down to 3 at most. This list is showing 2, but like I said, we're gonna go ahead and look at some of the other lists that I've created, and we'll go from there. Now, I've also kept in Basil Hawkins, and I haven't seen a lot of lists out there with people utilizing this card, and I'm not too sure why. He's still very, very good, and he's difficult to remove for decks like Zoro, Shanks, and Usopp, which you will probably run into occasionally. Usopp has the abilities to drop the Kyros down and cost reduction things with like Tempest Kick to pop things back to hand. They can't necessarily remove Hawkins like that. So he's kind of just a chunky body on board that can swing for 7k and has a you can't remove me right away ability, which is really, really nice. So I decided to at least run 2 of these, and it does help out as well in the Blackbeard matchup. For example, in Blackbeard, they have to have an Augur on board with a Liberation to be able to get rid of this, or a Tempest Kick into a Liberation. They have to at least have a Liberation to remove this entirely to negate the effect. Otherwise, we just get the rest something else on their side of the field, and he gets to stay. So, there's that. But in any case, let's go ahead and show you guys the other iteration of this. In this one, I decided to increase my count to Shanks, increase my count to Zoro, and go down the Kid, and go up one Doflamingo, in which I feel this is a little too much. I want to keep it at 2 Dofis, I want to go to 3 Shanks, and I want to increase the cost on Zoro as well, without hurting the deck too much. The Doflamingo, for example, this is a dead card in some matchups, and that's in Zoro, and that's against Blackbeard as well. The other matchups where this card does really well into Shanks, Smoker, and Usopp, this is why I decided to keep him in the list. Hypothetically, we take him out, then we have more room for 0-cost events, 2K counters, and other blockers, because we are only running 4 here with the, of course, the addition of Rosinante. This has to be in the deck. So with Killer and Capone, this can be subbed out for another Killer, right, for example. But the Doflamingo himself, we have 2 extra slots, which can go for Zoro or maxing out on Shanks if you choose to actually utilize him. If he's really helping you out in your matchups, you go for it. Dofi is a personal thing for me, and I think it's more of like a flex pick, if anything. This can be subbed out for any of your other top end, depending on the situation, depending on your local scene, or depending on what you think you're going to face more at your regional events that you are going to be going to. Dofi really does well, like I said, in a lot of matchups. Just certain aggro lists, Shanks, Zoro. If you guys are comfortable in this matchup against Shanks and you're at a good life pool, you can play down Dofi to stall out for a turn or two, do your thing. Zoro feels a little bit too slow. Usopp helps you out tremendously. Blackbeard, it's kind of a dead card, so you got to keep that in mind. Usually, in the past, we were running 3 to 4 of these per deck, along with the Baby 5 Searcher, right? That's how we were doing this beforehand. Things have changed, so you can't typically just do that now. So this is why I cut this down to 2. He's not necessarily like you must see him every game, but he does help you out. The Capones, of course, you can cut this if you want. This is just another spot for Killer, but at the end of the day, he is a cheap 1-cost blocker. That's why he's here. I decided to cut him in the end build, and we'll get into that. Smoker, of course, you run this at 2 to 3 copies per list. In my main, I decided to cut this down to 2. I wanted to increase the cost on Zoro, because this is my win con when it comes to Blackbeard. Stacking down 2 Zoros in a row typically wins the matchup. Opening hand with Zoro, drawing into one is very strong in that setting. This also helps you out in Usopp. Yellow Kid, Yellow and Green Law, very strong card in these matchups. The other one, I would argue, would be Shanks, but depending on how many 10-cost Shanks he has on board, makes Zoro manageable, so do keep that in mind. The Hody Jones, of course, are going to be 4. No matter what variation of Bonney you're running, you must see this. This is a very strong card into the Zoro matchup, into Blackbeard, Usopp. Overall, one of the best cards ever printed, so, opinion. Now, the Smoker, I cut this down to 2, just because I wanted to fit other cards in here, such as Zoro here and Electrical Luna. If you noticed, previously it was 3 Dofis, so we cut one of these out, we cut a Smoker out, we added in Zoro, Electrical Luna, and we're doing pretty good. We took out 1 0-cost event as well, just to get double of these. This is a very strong card into the Zoro matchup. Considering the fact that this man has a lot of bodies on board all the time, it's very easy to drop Electrical Luna into something like Cavendish, following into a Carrot, if need be, just to have Carrot on board to rest other things on the following turn once you attack into certain stuff for that turn is very, very nice. Being able to freeze the whole board in that matchup really helps you get into the late game, especially when you're attacking into their bodies 9 out of 10 times in that matchup, which gives them less cards in hand, which means potentially they don't have a lot of options to remove Eustace Kid when you decide to slap it on board. The other good thing about this card when I'm able to have a Cavendish on board, I can slap down a Hody Jones, have 3 Don left over, swing with Cavendish, restand 2, so now I'm at 5. Attach a Don here, swing 9, have 1 Don left for leader ability, and the rest I can use for Electrical Luna to keep everything frozen that Hody Jones decided to rest, which is really, really nice. But either way, we're going to dive into a bunch of games here today, and we're going to see what we can cook up. I have no idea how many we're going to do, but I'm going to try my best. I'm already losing my voice, so don't mind me. Let's get at it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Come at you guys with Jewerly Bonney playing into Yamato. As I mentioned, I have no idea how many games we are going to do. This might be the most games we've done in a video outside of playing Yamato and smashing out games as quickly as possible. I'm looking probably to do like 6 to 8 games, maybe more. I don't know, we'll see. Depends how tired I get. Now, with that being said, I want to put up as many matches as I can, and that's going to include looking for like the top meta decks if I can, right? So you may argue Yamato is not really a top meta deck, but again, aggro, very strong in the current format. I don't know why not a lot of people are playing this one. It be what it be. So we are going to be looking for things like Shanks, Zoro, Usopp, Jewerly Bonney, Purple Luffy if possible. Just all of the good stuff, right? Blackbeard, of course. I think I'm going to probably dodge Blue, Doflamingo, maybe Lionel, and all that sort of thing. And BY Luffy. I'm going to do my best, see what we can cook up here. Thankfully, this matchup hasn't really changed for me. I take every single Yamato hit outside of the banish swings, just because I get cards in hands and I'm able to just stick bodies on board. Of course, Yamato does get the access to the Kikinojo trigger and stuff and all that sort of thing, allowing Yamato to heal and yada yada. But it doesn't really affect me all too much, just because, again, once we're able to stack down the Eustace Kid, Yama has a hard time dealing with that. There's no Raigo, there's no way for her to get over it without attacking heavily into it. So, as long as we get a Rosie on board, we're kind of chilling. I think that was a mistake. We'll see. We'll see if it costs me later. I think I should have taken that hit as well. No, we get the Cavendish down. We can also get a search off. We can attach. No, I can't really attach here. But I can get the search into nothing important, unfortunately. So we'll take the killer. I wish we could take the Rosie. Would be great here. I guess we can attach here. It'll be okay. Let's go 5 lead. Yeah, this is fun. Cool. Nice. We'll attach this and pass it over. Now, I've noticed in this matchup, specifically, as long as I have Eustace Kid off the mulligan or the draw into or find it with Jewerly Bonney, it's kind of an easy ordeal. Just because Yamato can't really get over the kid, but there are occasions where you guys don't see him. You don't draw into him, you don't get him off the search, and it's kind of a wrap. Just like you'll play against Zoro players who just get the nut draw, essentially, and just get Rush Zoro into the Luffys, into the Choppers, and you can't keep up. Just because we use a lot of top end, like anywhere between 10 to 14 no counter cards, it's very hard to deal with the amount of attacks until you're able to stabilize with the 8-cost Eustace Kid. Whereas in this matchup, they don't have things like Divine Departure or Mole Gut. So typically my kid is safe. In Zoro and Shanks, for example, they do, right? So I try to guard out early, especially in the Zoro matchup. That way, I'm safe when I'm able to drop down the Eustace Kid. I might not have as much cards in hand, but I have a wall in which they can't really get through, and by that point I'm able to control board a little bit. Going 6 here. I mean, I guess that's fine, right? What do you want me to do? I guess we could have guarded out with Killer there, realistically, just to draw one, because now we can't. That's my fault, but it's okay. This is what happens when I talk and try to play at the same time. It doesn't always work out. but now we're at 8. So we're going to go and get rid of the Momo. Or attempt to get rid of the Momo, because he could just guard here, right? Yeah, that's fine. Cool. We'll take those. We'll slap down the useless Kid. We'll do the thing with Cavendish. And Kid can play Killer out of hand for free. Okay, Kikinojo comes back, no problem. And now basically we just sit here and tell Yamato to do something. There's not a whole lot that is going to happen, but we'll see. We haven't seen any Namis either, and it looks like Yamato is also playing the Wano package, which is nice. It's definitely easier to deal with than trying to play around the 5-drop Nami in life or the 2-cost Nami in life, you know? And just popping Cavendishes on board and Killers on board. Not a fun time. There's the Hody, though. Press the Dawn in the Killer. Okay. That was pretty good. So Yamato is I guess they actually have to attach on Dawn the Hody if they want to kill it, right? Okay. We're just poking. I guess Cavendish is safe here too, right? Because they have to attack into the Kid. We'll do that. Shanks is pretty useful here. Pop this. We'll get 2 Dawn back with Cavendish. I think Kikinojo is kind of irrelevant. I don't really mind if they heal here or not. Okay. I don't need to put the Tashigi on board, so that's good. We'll attach it here, and we'll pass turnover. He's just gonna block, so. Right? Okay, weird. I don't know why this had to give me counter there, but that's fine. I think I probably should have done that differently. Perhaps I should have attacked first with Bonney to see what he was going to do. I think I would have attacked the Kikinojo regardless, even if he did decide to block there with Momonosuke, so I guess the way I did it is fine too. If we attach 2 here, it makes it 8, and she puts 2 more. Yep, that's 10k. Doesn't swing, interesting. Maybe doesn't want to give me a card with the Killer. I don't know. But we'll take those. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why they did that. Okay. I mean, 9k might be a little greedy. Sure. Certainly they don't go to 0 here. I need to have 2 Dawn open for the Killers, at the very least. Just let it go. Okay. We'll clear this. And then we'll attach and pass. I could have put him on 0, yes. But we aren't really in any danger here, so I think we're fine to take this slow. There have been numerous games where I decide to be super aggressive and it kind of bites me. There have been numerous games where I decide to be super aggressive and it kind of bites me, you know what I mean? Okay, fair. What do we have here? A bunch of 2k counters and a Hody Jones. Yeah. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into another game. Come at you guys with Jewerly Bonney playing into Shanks. Rapid fire. Going to try the best that we can do here in this matchup, as per usual. I got a feeling I'm going to see a lot of aggro decks here at our upcoming regionals and championships for our local scene, so I'm gonna try my best. I tried to tailor Bonney to deal with these decks more so than play around like Usopp and Blackbeard. because I kind of just need to stick Zoro on board in some regard in some of these matchups. But when it comes to the Shanks matchup, the Zoro matchup, Electrical Luna, like I mentioned, has been very much helping me out, stay alive, to rest, keep the attackers rested. And when it comes to the Shanks matchup, the Cavendish and the Tashigi have really just helped out a ton. Being able to have Cavendish on board with the Tashigi or with the Rosinante kind of cements it a lot of the times, but every Shanks I've noticed is a little bit different. The deck list is very flexible, so it's always a very, very hard matchup here. I'd much rather deal with Blackbeard than deal with Shanks. That's Jewerly Bonney, and that's saying a lot, you know? At least for me. Maybe you guys have an easier time with Shanks versus Blackbeard. Not sure, but let me know your thoughts and your opinions down in the comments below about that. Because that is a tough matchup too. Let's see if we can remove this. If he wants to give me the minus reduction, it is what it is. I probably should have attached Dawn here, but I want to have the Tashigi on board for my Cavendish. Nice, cool. Actually, playing Rosie here is bad, right? If we play Rosie, we can't protect it, but we have the Dawn up. And but Shanks is not at, oh yeah, he is. It's my fault. My bad. I don't know why I thought he was at 6 Dawn. That's my bad. Cool, he doesn't have it. Nice. That was mistake number 1. I should have just dropped the Tashigi just to keep him on board and make sure he was safe. For some reason, I thought he was at 6 instead of 7. That's my fault. So we didn't have Beckman there, which is nice. Okay. I think we care about him. I think we need to get rid of it if possible. We can do the Hody, rest both of these. This might be a little greedy. The search really isn't going to help all too much. I might just find like a kid off of it or what have you. It's probably better to use the Dawn to swing here, if anything. Or we can play down a Rosinante or a Tashigi. I think he'll probably use a minus cost reduction here. Yep. Cool. So Hody might clear this. Darn. That was a Roger and a 0 cost event. Play this back on board. We'll pass it over. Now our Cavendish, our Hody Jones are safe. So he would need like a Hongo into a Beckman to pop them, or dropping down a Rayleigh. And the only thing that he could pop, technically, is Rosinante here. Okay. You speak of him, he shall appear. What's going on here? Okay, so he's going to pop Cavendish, so I'll get rid of this. Then he goes 7. Okay. Oof. That's rough, man. Is it worth it? I think we have to let this go. Yeah. We'll go ahead and rest lead. I mean, yeah, we're rest lead. Or not really, but Rayleigh here. Hear me out, It's fine. We have Shanks. It's okay. And I kind of need to keep that on board, but it is what it is. Okay, cool. So we get a carrot. We need to get rid of that somehow. I think playing Shanks is probably the right move. But we can also drop down another Cavendish on board if we wanted to. We can freeze this. We have 5 Dawn open. I think we're safe enough to be able to drop Cavi and then play Rosinante following that. Sure. Interesting. Guess he's gonna minus Hody Jones here. One, two. We won't be able to use leader skill if we decide to drop Rosinante, but let's not attack with Hody Jones instead here. I guess we're taking killer. So just make that a 5, right? Or should we attack? This way he'll try to remove Hody instead of attacking my face. So I'm a 6, makes that a 5. Let's cancel it. Let's go for it. We'll chill. It's fine. Because this might force him to use removal here instead of dropping the 10 cost Shanks on board as well. Because our board is pretty good. Maybe not. Maybe he's going to play it anyway. You just try to get me to 0. There's not really a point, is there? I mean, we have to take one of these hits. Oh, okay. He does not have 10 cost Shanks. And that's enough for me. You got it, buddy. No problem. I mean, it's a pretty good opportunity. We'll go 6 first. Into lead. Nice. We'll go 6 lead. We'll freeze that. The poke is real. 8k again. Nice. Okay. I think Shinx is in trouble now. There it is. He probably had it all along. I'm not sure why he decided to drop Zoro instead. Maybe because he thought he was safe. Not sure. There's nothing we can do here unless we're dumping our whole hand. I mean, now's the time we drop our Shanks to kill his Shanks, right? I think we could still win at that point. Yeah, let's do this. This is our best option. Okay. So we have to go 7 with Cavendish into the Zoro, right? We will restand 2 Dawn. And then we can kill the, what's his face? The Yas up here. And potentially we can run Doflamingo into Rayleigh. Let's go 5 here first. Yep. I think it's better to attack first with Cavi. But who's to say he gives us the Rayleigh? He wants to keep the Zoro down. Or this actually will force him to give me the cards that he wants to play with Zoro out of hand, right? That's good. Nice. It's kind of weird that I did it like that, but I think going 11 into the Rayleigh was probably the better move. I know if I attach the Dawn to the Zoro, I swing 7, then I restand the Dawn. But I still go 11, I think. Yeah, I probably should have done it that way. Mistake number 2. It happens. It is what it is. Take the kit. I think that cements the game here. He's got 4 in hand with 2 life left. I don't think there's much else that he can do here. Here's 7. Lead. Okay. We have to counter. I don't know what type of shenanigans he's got going on. But just in case. See? Spooky. I mean, yeah, this one will take. Another useless kid. Good game, buddy. Well played. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep them coming. Speaking of which, back at it again, playing into Zoro this time around. I'm hoping to have a lot of matches lined up for you guys today. So I am seeking out Zoro players and see what we can do here. This is going to be probably one of my harder matchups, outside of Shanks, of course. I think Zoro is very difficult, not only for a lot of decks out there, but just for me as a player as well. And I think that goes with against Bonney. If you don't draw the 8-cost kid, you don't find it off the search or what have you, it's very hard to deal with this matchup. You have the carrots, which you can't search into, so if you don't have the kid off the opener hand or the mulligan, or carrots to freeze characters, it's very, very tough. Now, we have the luxury of using Electrical Luna, so I don't think a lot of people are going to be expecting that. And at the same time, it actually does very well into this matchup here. Ooh, we both whiffed on card draws, or sorry, on card searches. So, not bad, not bad. Yep. Sure. So they left one Don up for the event, and sometimes I really just don't have a choice. I don't really want to give him our 2Ks there right away, even though I should have. We need to find the kid, though. I think we have to play the searcher down. He's going to get the event off if we attack. We need to find the kid off this. Nope. Well, we're taking the 2K. Oh, I forgot we already have a kid in hand. We're chilling. Never mind. We're fine. I decided not to attack just because he was going to probably put down like a chopper on board. You know what I mean? I kind of like building up board before we start attacking into Zoro, and I'd rather attack into the characters on board versus attacking life right away. Marco. Okay, so this might not be a Zoo Zoro. Interesting. This might be a traditional type of Zoro with the buggy, the Marco, with the events and all that sort of thing, which is a lot more manageable. I think we care about this, don't we? I think we do, but again, no choppers, so get down. I almost said Basil Hawkins, but Cavendish. Play down a killer here. We'll pass it up. I should have attacked that time though, actually, because he had no Dawn up. That's my bad. That's okay. We're chilling. We're fine. Not in a rush here. Divine Departure. I like it. Pretty spicy. I haven't run into too many Zoros that are utilizing it, but I think it's a really good idea, just because you guys are going to be playing up against a lot of green decks out there. So being able to remove the 8-cost Eustace Kid, if they don't have a Tashigi on board or Rosinante, is pretty huge, especially for 5 Dawn. Okay, so we can drop down Cavendish and Carrot here this turn. Or we can leave a Dawn up for our leader ability. So we can get down 2 bodies to combat his board, or drop down Odie Jones and rest the Dawn. Which is probably a, what, chopper event? If he's running that. Or another Divine Departure. We'll freeze the Marco here. We'll pass it over. Let's see if playing like this bites me in the butt. 6. Okay. Okay, so he does have animals here. Yep, okay. So Marco is not just a, like a tech, I'm guessing just a tech choice. Robson. Now he's getting aggressive. Sure. 7 lead. That's a big one. We do have Kid for next turn, and that means Cavendish is actually safe. So we can play down Kid with a Tashigi if need be. And it doesn't necessarily matter if he has Diable Jambe or not if we go to 0. As long as Kid's on board, we're chilling. Nice. Really? 3 Hodies? Serious? Well, Get down the kid. Well, he does play with Divine, so I think we have to put this on board. Already gave us enough information. Do that. I think it's worth it, right? We'll go 5 into the Hippo. Cool. 3 in hand. Perhaps he gives us some events here if we attack into the Marco. I know we can just freeze it and go face, but if he wants to save it here, okay, cool. I'm for that. Awesome. I mean, we can go 8 into it, but we have to attach the Don to Kid, so that's not possible. We need to leave a Don up for Bonnie's effect as well. So let's just go 7. We'll go 7 lead. We'll freeze this. We already got a card out of the hand for it, so I'm definitely taking that as a win. Now we have Tashigi, a blocker, and Kid. So now basically we can just slow play this, and we have the Hody Jones in the back pocket. We're able to establish the Cavendish without being popped, and getting down a Kid with Tashigi on board, which makes us pretty reliable right now. Nice little wall. Marco can't do anything, so he has to don up the 2 animals here. It does look like he's playing an Animal Zoo build with Marco and Divine Departure as tech choices, which is nice. Okay, so he's going straight heavy into Kid. It's only 12k though. There's not really any point of not putting the Don on Zoro here, because the other ones can't swing anyway. If we counter this out. But alright, sure, no problem. We'll rest this guy so he can activate his ability. Oh, actually, it doesn't really matter, does it? You can still use it anyway. Nice, we get another killer to replace the killer. Love to see it. And now that one can't swing. He has the Dawn, but it only makes it a 7. Versus if we rested the bear versus the chopper, then the chopper could have swung into the Kid for 8. Blocker on board, not really, you know. Carrot. Do we do the thing here? We drop the Hody, we rest both Dawn. I don't really care about the board state. And now we're just going to go into face. Or sorry, not into face, but clear the board here. Yep. And now we can just poke the Marco, basically. And hopefully he just gives us cards for free. Okay. Marco's gone. There goes an event. I'm guessing he had 2 of those in hand. Which tells me a lot. That means this Marco should be free. Nice. That's both events gone. 1 card left in hand. What else could he possibly get done here? I guess Roger could come down if he has Roger, so I have to be a little bit mindful of that too, don't I? Yeah. Let's go 6 lead. Let's start pressuring him here. I didn't even think about that, actually. Probably should have stayed at 1 life, just in case. That's my fault. Misplays on my part. 3 Dawn. Let's drop down another killer. I know this is weird, but we're going to have to get rid of something on board. And I don't mind getting rid of the Hody Jones. I know that sounds crazy, but we can just play another one. It's not really a big deal. We could potentially get rid of the carrot, but this is fine. I don't really care. I think we have the game in the bag right now. But yeah, imagine that though. Imagine he has Goldie Roger, and I messed up already because I decided to go down to 0 life, thinking I'm safe just with the Kid, which I am. But if he has Roger here, it could go south real quick. Okay, no problem. You got it, buddy. We'll rest your little bear over here, or chopper blocker. Sorry, that's probably better. 4 in hand, we'll block this, and then we'll just win a game this turn. I'm pretty sure we can anyway. Yeah, we can definitely win a game this turn. Well, yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We can go poking. We have the Hody in hand as well. Or you can just play it safe. It doesn't really matter here. Come on, man. What are we doing? Let's go. Oh, I think the sim bugged. I saw the timer just like instantly freeze. That was weird. That poor Marco, man. He hasn't done anything all game. He's attacked once and that's it. It's crazy. Yeah, I think we have to drop Hody here. Rest. We go 7 here. Overstand 2. We have Dawn for Kid, Leader, and then Hody. And that should be GG. Well played. Give it to me. I mean, it was a tough game, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, cool. No Goldie Roger. Nice. Funny enough, this is a pretty tough matchup for Bonney, I think. Like, low-key, I think Usopp is pretty good. And I think it's more so he has the access to the removal with the bottom decking, and the Kyros to bounce cards to hand. So when I want to slap down a Cavendish on curve, right? If we go first, we're at 5 Dawn. If he went second, he's going into 7. So that means, or sorry, math. He's going into 6, my bad. Anyway, if we're slapping down Cavendish on curve, we still have to be mindful of the Rebecca into the Kyros to pop the Cavendish back to hand. And I thought about it by utilizing the 5-cost Bonney, which basically stops that play from existing. If we have Bonney in hand, we drop that on curve to freeze his play. Because on 7 Dawn with Usopp, he just wants to play the Rebecca into the Kyros. And if we're able to freeze that or hold it off for a turn, it's really good in our favor. But I also feel like if I want to change the deck a little bit more, running the Bonney 5-cost versus the Basil Hawkins. You know what I mean? And I feel like the Hawkins helps out in a lot of matchups too. So it's just something I've been considering, you know what I mean? Anyway, other than that though, this matchup I think is still pretty tough with Usopp being able to get so many bodies down early game. And if I miss out on having Cavendish, which we don't have in hand here, it kind of sucks, man. And he does have a way of popping it with his Zoro if he has any cost reduction, which Tempest Kick is a thing. I guess, right? We'll go ahead and rest the Usopp. It doesn't really matter here if we rest the Zoro or not. Because next turn we're going to play Cavendish if we draw into him. If not, we can play down the Carrot to freeze the Cavendish from attacking us. Nice. Okay. This is really our only play here. Stops him from drawing cards. We get a body on board. We have no... Oof. I guess we get Hody as well, right? But that puts us down to 2. That might not be the best bet. Or it might have been. We'll find out. I think it might have been better for me to just go 6 into the Cavendish and then play the Carrot, maybe. I guess. We'll freeze Leader or rest Leader. And this is when he bounces the Carrot back to hand, I assume. Yeah, okay. So I guess it didn't matter if we had the Cavendish here or not, because it would just got like returned to hand here. Assuming he's got the Kyros. No, he's Luffy. He probably did. He probably was contemplating it. You know what I mean? That's fine. We have Luna here to freeze board. Running that into this. I really think we should save this. He's got 5 in hand. If I kill something on board next turn, he draws a card anyhow. And if I don't, he's got 7 in trash. So if we guard out and he just restands and pops me anyway, I just basically give him counter for free. It's a rough choice, but let's go for it. I know this is probably not the right move. Okay, he left it. Interesting. I wonder why that is. Maybe he's running King Kong gun and he needs the trash. Which I could see. We'll freeze that again. I'm trying to make do with our hand. We've got 2 Shanks and a Hody Jones. It's just not great. Electrical Luna in this matchup doesn't really do all too much for me. Being able to freeze a Zoro and Cavendish is cool, but I'm not really hitting the Luffy, which is another problematic card. And Carrot can't touch it either, just because of Usopp's ability. We do get another Carrot here, though, which is kind of nice. Which we can freeze another body on board, which is fine. And it might have been better for me to drop down the Shanks to pop the Luffy. I'm not sure yet. Okay, we get the Frankie. We'll freeze the other one. It's just a dead card in my hand right now. I mean, he is at 2 life. It's still possible that we win the game here. If he decides to play characters on board and we are able to get down the Hody Jones, you know? But this also could be the point where he smacks Luffy into Carrot and then restands it and smacks Luffy into the other Carrot and clears both. Because we don't have counter here anyway. And he kind of has been going for face, so... Or, sorry, he's been going for my board here, so... This is probably what I would do at the very least if I had the Luffy. He needs to clear, yep. You got it, buddy. If I could keep it rested, I would. I guess we'll just rest lead again. You got it. Now, is it more valuable for you to leave the Carrot here or you have to clear it this time? Regardless if he has Kong Gun or not. He already has board presence, so I think just clearing the Carrot is definitely the better play. I don't think he needs the Kong Gun to win. Because I need a hand size and Eustace Kid on board to be able to come back in the game here, I think. Which we don't have hand or Kid. Jewerly Bonney. We can search into it, but we're still missing the Rosinante and 2K counters. So I think at this point I'm probably cooked. I think you should clear the Carrot, buddy. I mean, you got enough in trash here. I don't see why you wouldn't. There he goes. Well, bye, Carrot. It's been nice knowing you. And then he still has an opportunity of getting cards next turn if I attack into anything other than face. Oh, you're just going to red rock me. Wow, okay. Fair. Maybe he decided to do that to restand to avoid the Shanks, maybe? Like, is that the correct play? Because now we can't Shanks it. Which feels bad. The only other thing that we could do is like waste a life here with the Hody Jones. Because regardless, he's going to get cards here. If we attack into something on board or we attack face, he gains cards. But we have to clear board here in this scenario. Or else we just lose. Oh, this is rough. I think going for a board is probably the better choice. We can probably clear the Rebecca. But it's not like it's a threat anyhow. It's just swinging 5, and we don't have any counter in hand, really. Yep. We'll pop the Cavendish here. I'd say it's still winnable, but it's definitely not. If he's got Kong Gun, he just wins the game right here. And it's not even for the double attack, it's just being able to smack twice with Luffy with only 5k in hand. I mean, I guess who's to say both of those aren't 2k counters, right? But, yeah. Oh, he only has 5 in trash. Okay, never mind, boys. I think we're good. But, I mean, we don't have any other choice here. I think we should rest the Frankie, perhaps, just so we can get rid of the blocker. If Shanks can survive this turn, we can win the game. Because we can drop the Hoodie Jones in case he wants to drop anything else on board when it comes to blockers. Unless he goes straight for game here. As I would think he would have just went 10k with Zoro and then 11k with Usopp if he was going to push for game here. He's got to know we have no counter. Okay, Red Rock. Bart, though. I don't think we necessarily made a lot of mistakes. I think it was a lot of cards that we just weren't seeing here. Not having the Kid, not having the Cavendish really did hurt a little bit, to be fair. And you also saw 2 Red Rocks, which removed our big bodies on board, in which we really needed them. He played really well, of course, but I think there's a lot of pieces that we didn't get to see this matchup. There's not really much else I can do. I don't know what you're doing here, man. Let's go. Yep. You're going to draw anyway. Yep. Play down other Shanks. We'll pop the Luffy. We potentially have 9k worth of counter in hand. Or not 9k, sorry. 5k of counter. I can't even math. 4k, my bad. Maybe would it be? Do you have another rock? Or can you finish me off this time? Because you go 7 to face. Or 10. Okay. Do I want to risk it? If that's a 2k counter, we can get out of this. If it's a 2k. Nope. Alright, good game. It was close, man. Oh, he had Kong Gun anyway. Well played, well played. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how many more games we're going to do. Maybe 4, maybe 5, give or take. This is probably going to be the longest video that I ever put up. Unfortunately, you know, like I said, my voice is pretty shot. But I'm trying my best. Either way, we're coming at you guys again with another matchup with Jewerly Bonney into Zoro, of course. And this looks to be a Zoo Zoro, unfortunately, like they always are. Our hand is not looking the greatest. We don't have Cavendish just yet, but I'm hoping we can draw into him next turn. We get a blocker on board here. We'll pass it over. I've learned a lot playing Bonney into Zoro the past couple days, especially since Zoro has picked back up in the metagame. I try to guard out early if possible and have as many lives as I can before we get up to the useless Kid turn. But it doesn't always work out like that, of course, because now we don't have any 2Ks here. So I kind of got to take this hit or risk my blocker. There's another no counter. That's 4 in hand. All of the bodies coming down. I think we have to guard here, realistically. But we'll give him the 0 cost event. Drop a Hody. Another one. You need to relax, man. Okay, so that's the Rush Luffy for the new structure decks. I think we have to clear board, of course. There's not really much else we're going to be able to do here. We know he has a non-counter card in hand, at the very least, with being a Luffy. We can play down a Carrot. We can freeze the Chopper here. Leave the Dawn up to rest either Zoro. I think Carrot really helps out in this matchup, so this should be pretty good. If we don't go down the 0 here. Okay, we got 6 Dawn open. We'll rest lead. Should we take this hit? We get a Kid. Okay, alright. We're good, boys. We are chilling. We got there. Just no Cavendish, though, which is unfortunate. 7 here. I can't take this hit, realistically. going down to 1 with Jewerly Bonney coming at some point. Especially with all these characters on board. Might just cook me. Ooh, this is rough. Can I stop getting no counter cards? Every single life that we've gotten, we got, what, a Kid, a Shanks, and a Hody Jones off life, which is terrible. 5 into 3. That's math. We have to stop the Luffy here. We have to freeze that at the very least. So we can go 7 to the chopper, freeze this. Nice. And then I can risk it, play another one down and freeze the Zoro, which is good. And then he has 2 attacks for next turn. Do that. And it's probably better for us just to keep up with leader ability. As much as I want to throw down a blocker here. Can we come back? If we can survive this turn, we can drop down Kid, and then we can turn the game around. If we survive. It's just so hard to do in this matchup when your boy has, like, every card he plays on board, he just smacks your face. You know what I mean? Or rest of this. 8 here. I think this is okay. We can't really do anything about it, so. He's got 6. It's probably going to be a Luffy or a Zoro here. Oh, I forgot he exists. Well, that's rough. Now we're at 0 life. You're cool. Goodness, man. Hey, look, there's a Cavendish. Way, way too late. Okay. Can we get there? And the best thing here is probably not attacking into the Zoro as much as I want to, but this will just get cards out of hand, I think. Yep. Okay. We'll go 6 here, or 6 here, and then we'll freeze that. Nice. Get down a Kid. We can do the Kid thing and get down to Rosinante. He's got 3 cards in hand. 1's frozen. And then we can rest something else here with Bonney. If he wants to swing with Luffy first, that's fine. We rest the Zoro. But he has to attach the Don to the Luffy to be able to get through the Kid. In which we have a little bit of counter in hand plus blocker on board. Yeah, that's not going to help you. Now we just got to clear board, boys. That's it. That's all we got to do. And hope he doesn't have Jolly Roger. Or Jolly Roger. Goldie Roger. Rest that. 11k here. We have to get rid of the Rosinante, which does suck. Yep. And now he can hit me, which is nice. Another 2k counter. Alright, we're looking good. We could potentially play Doflamingo here, but we don't get any Don back for the Kid, so that's not a good idea. If Cavendish comes down, we'll get the Don back. And potentially we can play down a Killer after that for another blocker. Hody gives us 3 left over to play. That's enough for the Kid, and potentially we can clear some board here. So we get the freeze 1, clear something else on board. Yeah, this is fine, I can't really attack with Eustace Kid. I'm going to have to use him to rest to play down a Killer in hand as a blocker. Freeze that. Ooh, that's nice, actually. Go 5 in the Nami. We're chilling, boys. We are chilling. We'll attach Don here. We'll do the Kid thing. Get Killer on board for free. And then we'll attach Don to that and pass turn. I think we're still in this. We are still in this game. At least until the moment where he decides to stack everything on Zoro and swing into Kid, right? Or Luffy and Kid here. Because that really makes us just dump our whole hand and get rid of our blocker on board. I'm pretty sure he's about to start doing that. Because he's at 5 life, he's not really in any danger. And as long as I don't have another Kid, he has nothing to worry about. Because you can just Jewerly Bonney if he has it in hand and go for face, or drop Luffy down and go for face. There's another Killer. That's awesome. Chopper comes down into another Chopper. Okay. Cavendish. I'm finally starting to draw into like countering useful cards, which is nice. I think we're safe to do this. So we play Cavendish down for 3 Dawn, which is nice. Because we get to restand the other 2. We go 6 here, freeze that. Luffy seems to be a little bit irrelevant now, which is nice. We need to play down another killer here. We can also search out with Bonney to find another 2k, which isn't a bad idea, so let's go ahead and do that. And then we have to attach Dawn to Kid. There's a 2k, which is nice. We'll take that. Perfect. Looking good. We can play Killer over top of the Bonney. I think we have to play Killer over top of the Bonney, honestly. Or we can just be greedy. If we're greedy here, it really, what does it get us? We just do a damage? Oh, I think we're fine, we're fine. Because we still have the Dawn to play it. It's okay. Yep. Then we'll attach Dawn here. Oof, almost forgot to attack with Hody. Nice. Not so bad, boys. Once we get the Eustace Kid and we're able to stabilize, this matchup kind of feels like it's winnable. Like I said, as long as Zoro's not running a Gold D Roger or a Divine Departure, and I don't have anything to counter out with like a Rosinante or Tashigi, we're chilling. If he happens to drop Divine Departure now just to kill the Eustace Kid, it's all over. We just lose. There's Dragon. Surely this gets through, right? Or rest lead, or the Chopper, actually, because he can get more bodies on board. Get another free card. That's all you can do. There's the Zoro. We play the Dofi here, or freeze everything. Then we get a smack with Cavendish, get our Dawn back, which is nice. I think Zoro is cooked now at this point. How you doing? It's so cool when people just notice who you are sometimes. It's nice. I'm still not used to it. Especially like local events and all that sort of thing. It's like when they hear the voice, it's like they know. It's really cool. Anyway, let's go 5 lead. I don't know about your worst matchup, man. I think it's winnable for you as long as you find the the Mulligan and I guess Divine and Otama. But I mean, Otama really just makes it a 6k, and then if you have the Chopper on board that you can attach Dawn to and swing in with that Chopper without me killing it at any point, it's a little bit easier for you to deal with the Eustace Kid as well. Yeah, he hasn't found any Mulligans yet, which is good. Or maybe he has seen some and he's bottom decked them with Nami. I don't know. Go 9 here, put him on 0, we'll pass it over. I think this is it for us. It was a good game though. It was very, very stressful. These matches always are with Zoro. What's your last thing you can do here? I mean, he is at 10 though. And I haven't run into too many Zoros that are using Roger, just something that you can consider. Oh, he's only running 2. Yeah, I'd probably up it. 2's not bad, but you want to see Mulligan, I think. I think you have to have an answer for Cavendish on board, or for Carrot, or just for the Eustace Kid in general. You need to have a way to remove them. Okay, so that's 6k right here. We get the rest one of them, which is nice. Okay. 10 here. Arrest lead. 2 Dawn open. We'll go ahead and counter out. Cavendish is safe, so that's fine. And that should be a good game. As always. Oh wait, hold on. We'll drop Hody here just to rest both those Dawn in case they are what do you call those things? Radical beams. But as always, it's always a fun time. No radical beams though. This is a very stressful matchup. Either way, good game, buddy. I'll catch you next time. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last Zoro matchup for the day. And then we'll dive into some other meta decks here. like Blackbeard and probably Smoker if I can find him. I think that's about it. We'll probably play like maybe 3 or 4 more games after this one at the most. And then we'll dive back into the deck list, and I'll go ahead and send you guys off on your way. Either way, let's go ahead and try this one more time into another Zoro and see what we can cook up here. I feel like every time I face this deck, it's always a stressful matchup. And the amount of times I'm probably going to see this leader, it's super depressing. But what else can you do, man? You have to, if you can't beat V-top decks as a deck you are playing, you already have a problem, right? You know what I mean? So you have to work around it, tech the deck in a way in which you can deal with these decks. Otherwise, you're just going to have a miserable time, I feel. Let's go ahead and start clearing board. I hope. Thank you. Cool. So where he plays down Chopper, and he gets down more bodies for free. Go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong. I hope I am, but tell me I'm wrong. Okay, Rushed Luffy comes down. That's nice. 6, gives out the Dawn, swings for 7. I can take some of these. I just don't want to take too many in the early game. Ooh, we get Luna, actually. I don't want to use it. I'll save it for later. Okay, 5. We'll counter out here. Ooh, throwing away a carrot is rough sometimes, man. But the 2K counter is also super valuable here, too. Oof. And we have Cavendish in hand, too, so I guess we'll keep the other carrot for now. Because at one point when we get to 8 Dawn, we can go ahead and slap down Cavendish and carrot at the same time. There's another Cavi. Oh, well. That's rough. That really is rough. Let's go 5 into the Chopper. Can I have this, please? Or you can give me your hand. That's fine. Okay, thank you. Now there's no point of using Luna here. Let's go ahead and search out with Bonney. Can I find the kid? I cannot find the kid. So I guess we'll take the killer, I suppose. There's no point in taking Cavendish here. And we'll pass it over. Okay, so we got rid of one problem. Well, we did gain a Cavendish, which is really, really nice. Another Luffy hits the board. So another 7 to face. Or freeze the other one, or rest the other one. I guess we can take 1 hit, which will probably come from the leader here, unless he stacks more Dawn on it. And if so, then I'm a little depressed, because I figured he'd leave up Dawn just for the events. At least I hope he will. So we go 6. Okay. Yeah, he's just going to go 6 here. That's fine. Yep. We'll give you the 2K here. Alright, so hear me out. This might not be the best idea, but I have an idea. We can drop down the Apu just to rest the Sanji, and then we just play Luna. What do you think about that? That's pretty good, isn't it? That's pretty good. Because now we just drop the Luna on board for 3. We swing with Cavendish, get back 2 Dawn. And we can play Smoker down and restand it on. That way we have it for leader ability. That'd be pretty nutty. He didn't guard out earlier when I swung 5 with the Chopper. Okay, I guess he did have the 2K counter. Interesting. Alright, so we'll freeze everything here with Luna. Oops, that's my bad. No, this is fine, this is fine. Yeah, we can attack here, we get the 2 Dawn back. We play the Smoker down. We actually didn't even need to play the Smoker here. Realistically, we can play down the Killer, or we can play down Smo. Let's play down Smoker, it's probably better for us anyway. Because this just gives us a free Dawn that we can use for the Bonney search, and then we have a Dawn left over for leader ability. And we draw absolutely nothing. That is so cool. Alright. Well, I thought we made a good play. Okay. I feel like it was pretty good. If only we got a 2K out of that search, that would have been perfect. I mean, he's got 4 in hand, though. And we have a board now, so. with a smoker that threatens banish every time. I think we're kind of chilling. And now he has to attach the Dawn to Zoro instead of getting it off the leader, or sorry, getting it off the Luffy ability. Which will put him to 5 Dawn. Which is still enough for another Rush Luffy or... Okay, that's fair. There goes the Cavendish. Or the Bonney. The Cavendish and the Bonney. Nami comes down. Gets another Rush Zoro. Fair. As much as I want to save this, and you know I'd love to, I just cannot. That's a scary board, though. 2 in hand here. You probably can't protect a lot of these. I mean, we only can really clear 2, unless we play down the Hody Jones and go to 1 life, which is super risky. If we drop the Cavendish on board, we can probably play the Basil Hawkins and be fine. Let's start with the Sanji. So this will probably be guaranteed. Okay. There's that. We have a little bit of counter here, so I think we're safe enough to drop down the Cavendish. Because we get 7 back. And Basil is pretty much free here. We stand 1 Dawn. I think we should probably swing 8 into the Luffy. Versus clearing the Zoro. Thank you. Nice. And that's perfect. Because now we can drop down Cavendish. Not Cavendish, sorry. Hawkins. Have 1 Dawn up for leader ability. Or we can just stack all the Dawn on a Pooh and go for it. I think having the Hawkins is better here. Or we can freeze something on board. Let's freeze this instead. Let's do the thing. We'll get the 2 Dawn. There's no point of dropping that on board. We'll pass turn. If it bites me in the butt, it bites me in the butt, right? If we lose because of that, then I know mistakes were made. Versus dropping the Hawkins for the carrot. We decided to play the carrot just because we can freeze the Luffy. That way the Luffy can't give him Dawn. Which might be a good idea. Yeah, it definitely was a good idea. Because we knew we had the Zoro in hand at the very least. Okay. 3 left. He has to swing with both Zoros here. We get the rest 1 of them, which is nice. So 7, 7, 7. Yep. We'll freeze this one, or rest this one, sorry. We either take this hit, or we give our hands. We have to guard this one. We cannot go to 0 here. We have Cavendish on board, which is safe. We can get rid of the Cavi in hand. Okay. I would say so far so good, but we're still in a bad spot. He still has a pretty scary board over there. Although Luffy hasn't done anything since he's been frozen this whole time, which is nice. He's got no cards in hand, so we should be able to just clear everything for free. And then we have to deal with the Hiking Bear and the Chopper, which I think we can get away with Hawkins. We get the Banish off here real quick, which is nice. There goes a Bear, which is also a 2K. We don't have to worry about anymore. We'll freeze the Zoro. Okay. So we have to play something first before we swing. We'll drop the Hawkins. I have an option of either dropping the Killer on board or doing a Bonney search, which is fine. But the Killer's going to get us to draw another card, which is probably better. Okay. We're going to get another Dawn back from that. And perhaps we do Rosinante here. But what would I get rid of if I did that? Would it just be the carrot? Or should we not do this? This would be triple blocker, though. I think this is very greedy. Because we have the Hawkins, and he can't really get rid of that. The Smo we can deal with, right? We can get rid of that for now. He's only has 3 cards left in life, and it's probably not going to help him win the game here. What happened? Oh, you just giving up? I'm sorry, man. I think he needed to see Dragon or Shanks there at the very least to lower my power. But I don't think it would have done much here for him. Overall, not bad. Pretty good. Pretty good. Being able to combat board like that is crazy sometimes. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and do something a little different here. Coming at you guys with Bonney playing into Blackbeard. Go from aggro to control. See what we can do here. This is one of those matchups where I feel like it's a little bit easier to deal with, and I'd much rather play into Blackbeard than Zoro. It's less stressful. Not saying the matchup is easy by any means, but being able to see Zoro in the opening hand, you feel pretty good. Now, we got Cavendish, we got Carrot. We're chilling, right? At the very least, I think. we'll be fine. It really starts pressuring once we get up to the 5 Dawn turn. And speaking of which, we're going to swing 8 next turn and keep the pressure on each and every turn. I like to get Blackbeard down to 2 life as quickly as I possibly can, or 2 to 3 life as fast as I can. Interesting. Don't really get to see that Burgess being used in a lot of Blackbeard lists, so wonder if he's cooking up. A little bit of spice, I guess. A little bit of spice. He'll probably take it out after this game, if I had to guess. 4. Yeah, let's go 8 here. Next turn we'll drop Cavi. It doesn't matter if he uses leader ability or not, because Cavendish can stick on board and swing, you know what I mean? And get the Dawn that way. If he has the finger pistol for the following turn, it'd be what it'd be. At least he's not playing a body, right? 1-5 here, sure. I don't mind taking a few hits early game. Alright, so Searcher. Which Bonnie Searcher in this matchup is kind of irrelevant. I mean, she does act as a pseudo blocker. Most of the time, I'm looking for Eustace Kid, right? And in this matchup, Eustace Kid doesn't really do all too much against Blackbeard. Hey, a second Zoro. But that does. That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll play down Cavi. We'll go 5 lead here. That's my fault, though. I should have attacked first. Just in case he decides to let this go and he gets finger pistol. Cool. Never mind. Gives me a Von Augur, though, which is nice. Alright. So he's got 6. He's on 6 Dawn right now, right? Or is that 7? He's on 7 Dawn. My bad. He needs to remove this if possible. He threw away a Von Augur, which gives me the impression he has another one in hand, perhaps. But he still needs to... He needs to make me go down 4. Or at least... Yeah. Because he can't play Von Augur here and pop me. He needs a Tempest Kick. Okay. Never mind. There's a Kuzan. Finger pistol is still possible. Never mind. We're good. Just your typical average teach game. You know, no big deal. Searching 4 times in a turn. 3 with searchers and 1 with stage. It's crazy. Alright, so there's his 10 cost teach. So he's got 6 cards in hand. 1 we know of right now. And he's got the sword guy. I always forget his name. There goes another Von Augur that's trash. Oof, we'll give you the 0 cost event here. We'll get rid of the kid. Okay, we're chilling. There's Doc. He might be setting up for next turn to pop Cavendish, which is unfortunate. We'll go ahead and freeze. Oh, that's right, we can't freeze. It's my bad. Oh well. We'll go 5 lead. That's my fault. I get excited. 5 here. So it gives me that, which is nice. There's not really a point of going 6. I guess we get the Dawn back, which is fine. Yeah, no, this works. Because you can play down the Tashigi here. There's no point of playing Carrot down. We have to play the Tashigi just to keep the Cavendish on board. And we'll pass it over here. That's fine. I wanted to drop the second Carrot, but it didn't really matter. I think we have to protect the Cavendish if we're able to. Because we know he has a 10 cost teach in hand. At the very least. And he can't search out for finger pistols off his event here, or any of his searchers. So that means Cavi is going to be safe. Unless he drew into it for this turn. Which I doubt it. I think he drew into the stage. Because otherwise he would have kept the Von Augur and pitched the stage previously, right? So there goes Liberation. And he had to use Liberation there to remove the Tashigi, which is nice. Look at all the searches in a turn this guy gets to do. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5 searches in a turn. Goodness. 11 into Cavi. I mean, you got it, man. Arrest that. No problem. Yep. That's fine. We're at 4 life. I'm not really worried about it too much. He can keep searching all he wants. I really don't care at this point. I didn't really care to begin with, to be honest. We'll go 6 here. Freeze that. If he wants to spend the Dawn to search, by all means. We'll drop Zoro. We'll pass it over. So now you know he's going to play 10 cost Teach, right? He's going to stop the Zoro from attacking. Great. Fantastic. We just play another one. And then one Zoro can swing. Meanwhile, he only has 1 blocker on board. So, unless he plays another 10 cost Teach, right? But still. Yep. He has no other bodies here, which is interesting. We'll drop this. Okay. Well, bye to you too, man. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably play maybe 1 or 2 games after this one, at most. Then we'll dive back into the deck list. My voice is almost going. I don't know. I feel like I've been talking a lot today, but it be what it be. Like we played, what, 8 games, 10 games, somewhere around there, give or take. And these are just the ones that are on recording. I've been playing all day. I've had some really good games. I have had some games where it just feels very, very lopsided, especially when I'm winning some of them. And I've had some games where I just don't draw anything, of course, or don't draw the pieces I actually need, which is kind of downside. And I think more so with Bonney, I have very, very good games than I do bad games, which is nice. There are some matchups where Zoro just sees the nuts, and there's nothing really I can do. We've all been there. But other than that, I think she has some very good matchups in today's format, which is nice. I just think you have to have certain pieces on board and have answers for certain cards at the correct times here. Ooh, okay. Get Dofi out of that. As per usual, let's do the ordeal. Let's go 8k to face. This is one of those matchups, though, where I feel it's much more laid back. I feel like Smoker isn't as aggressive as Shanks and as Zoro, and I feel like I can actually have a breather, you know what I mean, as Bonney, which is interesting. There are certain cards where you have to pay attention to, like the 5-cost Smoker, and that's really about it, because they also play Hody Jones, and they also play the 8-cost Eustace Kid. What are you doing here, man? Anyway, they also play Hody and Eustace Kid, which is hard for you to get over the kid, right? It is. But as long as you're chipping away at Smoker's hand, they don't typically have a lot of ways of protecting him most of the time, which is nice. What are we doing here? That's fine. So I guess they're going to actually get a damage in this turn too, which is okay. There's a Sanji on board too. Actually, they're going 5. No, not even attacking. Never mind. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'll take that. Play down Cavi here. Get the Dawn back. Ooh, this is actually kind of risky. We have to play the Tashigi, I think. Because they go up to 7 Dawn next turn with the Beckman. Let's just go 7 lead. If it backfires, it backfires, right? What are you going to do? They played 2 Nami Searchers in the beginning. So perhaps if they saw the Beckman, it got bottom decked, unless they opened it with hand, or they got off the life here, or the draws. I think the chances are slim. I think Cavi's good. Unless he Mo-guns me. Nope, okay. See, we're chilling, we're fine. It's okay. Yep. He's got 5 left. Got a blocker down. That Sanji blocker, or Chopper blocker, is very, very good. Being able to be at 7k on my turn is crazy. 6 Dawn left. I'd assume he's going to attack heavy with Smoker here. Rush Zoro. Okay. I like it. Very aggressive. Yep. So that has Rush. We'll rest the Smoker. I don't know why he decided to play that down first instead of attacking with the Smoker first. But we'll take that. Interesting. I can get rid of 1 carrot here, I think. I think I can get away with that. Okay, never mind, we get another carrot. Go 6. Give me the 2k. There's our Smoker, which is nice. Because I believe this turn we can actually do Smoker and Carrot, or we can just freeze the whole board. No, let's freeze the whole board instead. I think this will be a better play. Instead, though, we can force this man to block with the Chopper, right? Because we get the Dawn back either way. And I think he'll probably probably use the Chopper to block my Bonney. I think that's what he'll do. Or he'll block the Cavendish here with the Chopper. So we'll go 7 here. We'll get the Dawn back, right? I don't think he'll risk the blocker. Because he needs the blocker for the Smoker. Unless he has the counter in hand. What are you doing? Come on. Okay. Yep. There's that. We'll go 6 lead. Can I get the blocker, please? Nice. We got there, boys. We'll reactivate the Dawn here. We'll play the Electrical Luna. Freeze everything. We'll pass it over. Oh, you know he's salty after that. That's pretty good. That was pretty good. Because now we're at 8 Dawn. So on the following turn, we drop the Doflamingo and freeze again. How good is that? If we draw into another one, we can just do it a 3rd time. That is so good. There's not a lot of decks that you can actually do this with outside of like Smoker, Zoro. No, I lied. There's a lot of decks in the format you can actually freeze everything with, to be fair. I think Usopp is one of the very few ones that's very hard to do just because a lot of his stuff is way too high for you to freeze. At least all the cards that you want to freeze from him, you can't, right? Everything else, outside of 8-cost Useless Kid, you're chilling. 7-cost Law, no problem. You know what I mean? You're having a good time with that. You can play in a body here. Do you have a blocker? Because he's got 4 in hand, right? If he doesn't drop a blocker this turn, we should be able to run over it. He doesn't have it. Okay. I'll freeze that, or rest that. I'll give him my carrots here. That's fine. I think we want the Cavendish on board. I think having the Cavendish here is something we definitely need, because we need to be able to play the Dofi. And if we let the Cavendish go, we can't play the Dofi this turn. I mean, I guess we could have, because we have the Smoker, right? We could have played it. But it's probably better for us to protect the Cavi here. Unfortunately, though, we have to play Doflamingo first. We'll freeze the Smoker, the Zoro, and let's freeze the Kid. So I think he'll attack with the Kid for 9 anyway, and the other 2 here is a little bit manageable to deal with. It's only Sanji that we won't be able to touch. I think we have to freeze this one. I think that was the best play here. I mean, freezing the Kid, it stops him from attacking, 9k into my face next turn, or 9k into a body on board. But at the same time, he can't rest it to play something down from hand, which is nice, right? Now, we could have decided to freeze the, the Sanji, or the Chopper blocker, because we do have Hody Jones in hand. Just in case he decides to play down 2 more blockers next turn, or what have you, at least we have 1 blocker that's already rested. I think we have to go 10k here into Kid, versus leaving up a Dawn for our leader ability. We need to be able to at least try to clear it. Yeah, he had the counter, unfortunate. Now I think for him, he has to clear my board. Considering his board is much better than mine, right? Let's be honest. If he's able to clear my board, he might have a better chance at winning this matchup here. Sanji can't swing, or the chopper blocker shouldn't swing here, so he shouldn't be donning that up. I think he will probably swing in with the Sanji and the Smoker at the very least, unless he has another rush character, like a Zoro or a Hody Jones. If he's playing with Rosinante here, this could be a problem as well. Okay. We have no counter, so you got it. I mean, Cavendish did his job, so that's great. So that means he's going to attach Don to Sanji here to try to run over Smoker. Another Rush Zoro. Interesting. Okay. You might want to go higher here. 7. 5 left. Okay, that's enough. You got it. Can't believe it, though. He actually took that instead of playing down another blocker. Maybe that's the only thing he could do this turn. Because now he just faces Hody Jones. I know that sounds super aggressive, right? He's got 2 Don left, or sorry, 2 life left, 2 cards in hand. Maybe he has a 0 cost of it in hand. So if I decide to swing in with 7 with Bonney, he can guard that one out. So we'd have to go 8k if we're going to attack. If we go 7, you know, then he just wins the following turn. If he decides to go all face. You know, it might be very aggressive here, but he also forgot to put a Don on Kid. I don't know why he decided to do that. Maybe he really wanted to clear the Smoker, but still, I think that might cost him the game here. We get Electrical Luna as well, so now we can freeze the whole board outside of the Eustace Kid. Okay, alright, well played. I apologize. I know I said no more Zoro play. I'm sorry. This will be the last one with Jewerly Bonney into Zoro today, I promise. And then we'll dive into at least one more game after this, maybe. We played against a, what was it? An ace? Yeah, we played against an ace after our Smoker match, which was kind of cool. But I didn't feel like ace was like, you know, like meta contending, you know what I mean? It was the yellow-blue ace. Not necessarily a tough matchup, but at the end of the day, you know, it was fun for us, not necessarily fun for them. We were able to rest pretty much their whole board with Luna and being able to slap Dofi down. It was a good time for us. Overall, we meet Zoro again here. And before we get into this one, that matchup with the Smoker, being able to drop the Hody Jones down on top of a Luna is just, it really just cements most of the games in that matchup. Outside of being able to freeze the Eustace Kid, you can go ahead and get rid of their whole board for a turn, which kind of sets them way, way far behind, which is kind of nice. I think Luna in general is really catching a lot of players off guard. And I think in this metagame here, it's pretty good, especially when it comes to green. That's my bad. I probably should have attacked into the Nami here. Just because he can go ahead and slap Don on their leader and then Don up Nami here for 2 and swing at me for 5. At least with the Makino, he can't boost up another body on board and swing with it for that turn. So I think we should have attacked the Nami. But it's okay. It's fine. I do think, though, playing into Zoro as Jewerly Bonney is getting easier the more I do it. Not necessarily all the time, because sometimes Zoro just gets the nuts and he just slaps down rusher after rusher after rusher. And being a deck in which that we have like 11 to 14 bricks, it gets rough at times when we don't have a hand to protect ourselves in the early game. So that does happen. But often not, we're just able to rest the lead, which is nice. That's 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is okay. I'd rather him attack with leader here, instead of me just resting their leader and they not attack with the bear. There's just a possibility they just won't do it, you know? Yep. Now his whole board is rested. We could Luna to keep it frozen. We have no choice but to take this hit. Like I so we have Kid and Rosinante. Looking good. I don't think this board is worth using Luna here. Even though we could drop the Cavendish down, play Luna, and call it a day. But instead, let's just clear board. We can save the Luna for later when he decides to stack up other characters like Killer and Zoro and all that sort of thing. Nice. Okay. It just feels a little weird here though, right? Leaving 2 Don open. So, we'll just drop a Rosie. I know he can't save anybody because Cavendish isn't arrested, but at least it's a blocker here for the time being. And if Cavendish can survive, next turn is going to be very, very good for us. Because no matter what he decides to do, whether Divine Departure or Mulgun or what have you, we have the Rosie to protect our kid. So we got the Makino. Yep. Nami swings in at 6. I don't know what's in the hand, but I might have just attached 1 to go 7 here. We'll rest the leader. Actually, the leader being arrested is probably better, because he has to attach the Don to the Chopper if he wants to do the thing. And that's less Don for him to play characters on board. And I do feel safe here, just because we have the Eustace Kid. Okay, he's going to do it. He's going to go 7. I think we need the Rosie. Just to keep the kid on board. So, what else are you going to do? Give him all the carrots? Probably not. There's a Chopper. We're getting a poo. Nice. We'll drop the kid. We'll swing in, start clearing board some more. I don't like going face, like I mentioned before, unless we can clear board. I think board in this matchup is your priority as Bonney. Or any deck, really, when you're playing against Zoro. But some people just, they go face, so. I don't have anything to play off of this, unfortunately. And that's okay. Let's clear the Nami this time. Which I should have done originally, but we decided to go for the Makino. What you doing, man? Thank you. Okay. They do have the Chopper, which makes our kid a little bit less threatening, right? Because it brings it down to a 6k, which is a little bit easier of a time for Zoro to deal with. But we still have the Rosie to protect it from the first swing, which is nice. There's Zoro. This card is really good, man. It's a really good card, especially when you KO it and you have like a Rush Luffy in hand, or like just in general. And your opponent has no way of removing it for the following turn. Just like a bam, unblockable to your face. It's kind of nice. We'll have to... I guess it's better to rest the Chopper, but he can't hit me anyway, so... Then 10k. We're definitely going to keep Zoro on board. Or not Zoro, sorry, Kid on board. No matter what. We give him the Rosie instead of giving cards from hand here. Zoro, unfortunately. I feel like that never really helps us in this matchup. Carrot coming down could be the problem. Or sorry, could be a good problem for him, you know? We can freeze their Zoro. And then we have 5 Don left. So we play Jewerly Bonney. We'll get a search off. We attack with Cavendish, get the Don back. We find a 2k, which is nice. Slowly starting to get some defensives in our hand here. We don't have anything to play off of, so we're going to go 9k lead. Start poking. I guess we can go 7 with Cavendish here. Ignore the Zoro on board. Alright. Then we can do it again with Jewerly Bonney as well. Just keep pushing. So I think at this point he has to remove our kid. Sadly enough, we don't have the Rosinante anymore. So maybe we should have guarded out a hand there, just to keep Rosie on board in case he finds like a Divine Judgment next turn. Or Divine Departure, sorry. Pass it over. We did get quite a bit of cards out of hand there. I'm not really going to complain too much. We haven't seen a chopper yet. The good chopper, you know what I mean. So that's good for us. Okay, so he's going to minus the kid. He has to attack with chopper first to do this ability. He's a 7. He'd be swinging in at a 6 with a 7. So he needs to attach some more Dawn here if he wants to try to get a good one. He'll probably attack with chopper first. Yep. Okay, so he's going to minus the kid by 2,000 power. I think it's 2,000. Yep. Oh, it's 3,000. Math is hard sometimes. Okay, we'll rest this. And, of course, we will counter out this one. Just to keep this on board. We don't need Cavendish right now. We already have one on board he hasn't cleared yet. But we'll get rid of the carrot, just in case, because he does have 5 Dawn left. Okay, yeah, rush Luffy. Oof. Man, that sucks. Was that a misplay from my end? Should we have just let the kid go? So I did not account for the Luffy there. That's my bad then. I was thinking like a chopper would come down to get some more characters on board. And then he leaves a Dawn up. Oh well. That's my bad. I mean, we can play it out another one considering we have Rosinante, so it's not too bad. This second kid should seal us the game though. 5 here first. Give me cards, please. Thank you. Exactly what I wanted. We'll clear it this time around. Actually, we don't have to, really. But we'll get 1 off board. We can go 6 or 7 into lead, or 7 into Zoro and freeze the carrot. Or sorry, use carrot to freeze the Luffy. Yeah, we'll take that all day. I don't know why he decided to do that, but okay. Interesting. So let's get rid of this. We'll freeze that. Zoro's kind of irrelevant because he has no cards in hand. And then the Luffy can't give Dawn and Chopper can't give the minus cost reduction here. Or power reduction. He can't swing. Now we can do the Jewerly Bonney search. Maybe find another 2K counter. Nope. That sucks. I guess we'll take the killer blocker here. Call it a day. And we'll pass it. There's no point of playing him down right now. I kind of need the Dawn up. What do you get here? A dragon would be kind of terrifying to see. At the very least. Or just any form of removal that can get rid of Rosinante. Just attack big into the kid. That's all he needs here. So Mole Gun. Okay, yeah, Giabbe. Not bad. Both choppers are in life. That's crazy. We'll take those. Well played. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the last matchup for the day. Alas, it has to be Blackbeard. It has to be this deck. I mean, I guess it's better than playing against Zoro again, right? Let's be honest. I think I've probably bored you guys to tears with 4 matches, I think. Was it 4 matches or 5? Somewhere around there. But this one's no better. So, I mean, it's a very good matchup for Blackbeard. It's not necessarily a bad matchup for Bonney. Unless we don't find Zoro, in which we don't have any. We can't search it out. So, this could be quite tragic. We did get the Hody Jones, which is nice. Cool. I was hoping we didn't see, like, a bunch of Zoros in this search. And that would have felt really, really bad. Just as bad as not picking any cards. So, what are you going to do? Meanwhile, Teach is probably going to search twice or 3 times this turn. I think he only searched twice, right? Okay, well, there it is. No, he can search 3 times. Because you get to search off of this, you get to search off the event, and if he has, what do you call it? The event in hand, he can do that as well. So, stage, event, and then this searcher. So, there's 1 blocker. Let's go 8 to face. I don't really care about him. If he's going to be on board, that's fine. I try to play this matchup as aggressive as I possibly can. At least getting Teach down to 2 to 3 life before we get down to our 8th on. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Augur on board. So he's winding up, because we know he already has the Dock Q. So he's winding up for the Cavendish. Another Von Augurs. That's 2 of them. Ooh. Not giving me cards. Hey, there's the Cavendish. Let's do the thing. Doesn't use leader skill either, which is crazy. I mean, Rosinante doesn't really save us here. We kind of need a Tashigi. So I guess we can go 7 lead. Keep pressure on. Goes on to 3. And no finger pistol. We got there, boys. We got there. Well, it's 5. I guess technically he can drop down another Von Augur here to do both their effects, then drop the Doctor to pop the Cavendish. You, hope you step on a Lego for this, by the way. If you ever see this video. That's real mean. Look at that. Well, it was going to be a good day. And then he chooses not to attack me again. There's the Tashigi. Hey, come on now. Guess we'll get a free Hody down. We'll go 5 lead. And then I will go 8k into the Augur on board. Because otherwise, they're just popping things for free at this point. I know they get to draw a card and everything, and it does suck that we're going to give them back something, at least a resource. But we remove a body on board. And for the time being, unless he draws another one or draws a Kuzan to use Kuzan's effect to put him back on board, I think we're okay. Perhaps Hody can be safe here. I mean, realistically, he needs what? He has Augur's effect and the Finger Pistol to kill me? Or Augur's effect and Liberation? So, maybe we're not safe, actually. Well, there's a Kuzan. So, Bird just comes on board now. Oh, we didn't even have Burgess in trash. Wow. He's so good at this game. That's crazy. Alright. Can you at least hit me this time? Give me a card, please. Get another search off. So we got to search this turn. He got to draw a card with Kuzan. But then he draws one off the search, of course, because he searches out for something. Another hatchet or whatever that is. Not going to try to butcher it right now. Normally I can say it. Just, I don't know. Trashes that for the leader ability. Okay. Then goes 8 to face. Most certainly. You definitely can have that. Get a 2k counter. Another Hody, which is really good. But does he have another Kuzan? I guess ideally we could just go 5 lead. And then drop the Tashigi afterwards. Actually, no. We'll go 5. We'll drop the Hody Jones and we'll drop the Rosinante. Leave one Don up. Because that way, if he decides to pop the Hody, at least he has to go through the Rosinante first. We'll clear this. Yes, he draws a card. I get it. We'll drop Rosie and we'll pass. So now we should be good, right? I mean, Von Augur, Doc, pops that. And what do we do at that point? Tempest Kick into a Finger Gun? Okay. Laboon. Your boy has all of the removal. Wow. I feel like I'm being bullied. Yep. Sure, I guess. Get to search again. It's not looking good for us, boys. It is not looking good. I actually don't know how we're going to win this game now, at this point. Because odds are we don't draw any big body after that, because we got lucky with double Hody Jones. So we haven't seen anything else, and our Searcher Bonney can't really get anything other than Eustace Kid, which is not good in this matchup. Shanks doesn't help us either, considering his leader ability. Goes 6. I guess we'll rest Shirayu. It doesn't really matter. Yep. There's Eustace Kid. A Luna, please. Nope. Hey, we get a Zoro, though. That's really good. Just, he has a lot of ways of removing it. So, what do you want me to do? What we got here in trash? Okay, there's a Kuzan, there's Von Augur. He has 1-1, and Von Augur on board. So he has 2 Augurs, we've only seen 1 Kuzan. We need to find a way to make Zoro safe on board here. I don't know what we're going to do about that. This might be a little aggressive. Wishful thinking. Okay, fair. No, that's cool, that's cool. Maybe we play the kid just to have the kid on board. I know it sounds strange, but at least that's 2 attacks from the Laboon and from the Von Augur that aren't going to be attacking me this turn. I know we just waste the kid for it, but at least we can play kid down with the Tashigi, so we'll have to work a little bit harder just to remove both. And that's okay. Then we'll pass it over here. I think that's a pretty good play. I mean, he has to Von Augur the Tashigi and then Doctor it to get rid of that. He does Laboon's ability, then Liberation to remove the kid, perhaps. There's so many ways he can go about this. And the only thing we need to do is just get a body on board that can stay for a turn. And then we're chilling. Yep. Rest this, no problem. Kid's still a 7 though. I guess he plays another Doctor down. And does the Doctor thing maybe? What happened? Finger gun. Okay. Weird. Why didn't he just do Von Augur originally? Just make the kid, what, a 5, then drop finger gun to kill it that way? Maybe. And then do the Laboon and the Doctor to pop it the second way? So, I don't know. Give him a 2K here. 6 Dawn open. We haven't seen any Burgesses yet, which is nice. We've only seen 1 Kuzan so far. Never mind. He's so cool, man. What do you get from that? Okay. This guy might play a lot of Blackbeard. He might. I'll be fair. This is probably the first Blackbeard I've played against in a long time that actually utilizes their combos and does it a good job. Because honestly, I feel like every Blackbeard I've ever played against, whether that's local scene or just on sim, they just search out for their 10 cost and they just do the plays that you already know that they are going to do. You know what I mean? Which is a little weird, but it's just a very consistent deck, you know? I also haven't run into too many Blackbeards that are still utilizing Laboon, so there's that. Can I get lucky? Can you please take this? Thank you. Okay, Zoro. Let's do it. Can we get there? He played the Kuzan earlier, right? So we got back the sword guy instead of getting back a Von Augur. So that's 2 Kuzans in the trap. Okay. Alright. Never mind me. Can he get enough, though? Because that's 4. Von Augur makes me a 7. Then he still needs to go down 1 more to pop me. Or find another sword guy off the search. Yep. So he gets 2 searches here. He needs to find the sword guy to get rid of me. Please no. Let me live 1 turn. Just 1 turn. That's all I ask. And then we can start clearing board. Or doing some damage to face. Okay, so we got a blocker. Okay. That's a good sign. Alright, his second search. And then he has 1 more. Okay, there's the Von Augur. He can't do anything with that because he has 4 Dawn left. If only. Perhaps if he would have used the stage first to find the Von Augur, then played the Von Augur on board, then he would have had a way of removing the Zoro. But I think now if he uses stage, he has to search out for another 4-drop sword guy. I think we're safe, team. Nice. So Zoro lives a turn. We finally got there. But realistically, I guess if he uses his stage, like I mentioned, maybe. Maybe that's how it needed to work. So he used the searcher to find another searcher. And then he used that searcher to find the, what? Nothing? I guess he got Vasco shot there, so. I'll have to watch it back. I think he did a good job, but still. I'll start poking. We got this earlier for 6k. Can we do it again? Yes, we can. Okay, Zoro. We really need to clear this off the board, though. Unfortunately, we have to attack into it. I guess we can swing at him 3 times and put him to 0 life, but this is okay, too. Yep. Sure, he could take a card. He has 1 blocker on board. So technically, we'd only be able to put him in the 1 anyway. Yep. Let's do the Zoro thing. We've got a decent amount of counter here. Yeah, I think he just gives us the Vasco shot realistically. Apu I can't use because we can't rest the Vasco shot with the Apu. So I think this time around he's just going to block here. Okay, fair. We might get there, boys. We might get there. We have 2 Dawn. Just feels a little bit awkward, but we'll pass it over. This is where he plays 10 cost Teach to freeze the Zoro, and I can't do anything about it. Because then he has 2 blockers with Vasco shot, 10 cost Teach, and I have no way of resting them because he's going to leader. He probably would leader skill, just in case of Hody Jones. Because that would be the time we'd actually be able to go for a game there. Because you swing for 8 with Hody and then 8 with lead, and then next turn we would lose probably. All right, so here comes the 10-beard. He does the thing. I can't rest anything on board, in which we would rest the Vasco shot here. So that sucks. But what else am I supposed to do? Nope. Can't use leader skill next turn. Or sorry, can't play on plays next turn. We definitely need a Hody Jones here. Trash his Liberation for stage. Okay. There's a Burgess. 5 lead. I don't think we want to go down to 1 life here. We'll give him the killer. Actually, no, we can give him the carrot, realistically. Because I'm not going to be able to freeze anything here, just another body that I'm throwing on board. At least the killer can be a little bit of use here. Okay, never mind. I guess it can't. Should we just give him the Apu? We might need the blocker for later. There's another one. That sucks. Zoro can't swing. We need to get killer on board and then hold up 1 Dawn for leader skill. Or we could get killer down, attach the Dawn, and do the thing. But I think we also have to heavily go into face this turn. So have a card out of hand, please. Thank you. That's the Burgess that he searched out for, which is fine. Hold up. Show some 14. This is good. Yeah, this is good. Because we can play down the killer, restand a Dawn with Smoker, and then we can chill. Because then we can put a Dawn to killer, and then one for leader ability. Yep. Perfect. We have quite a bit of counter in hand as well. That's not bad. I mentioned it and then I forgot to do it. Oh well. That actually kind of sucks, low-key. Mistakes happen. That's fine. And I feel like I do that in local play as well. I just forget about it. There's a second teach. I mean, we're getting close. Maybe we'll draw another Zoro here soon, or a Hody Jones. The Shanks and Doflamingo are kind of relevant here. Kid's not going to get any value. I need at least to see a Zoro or Hody to go for a game here. If I attached Dawn, we could have got the draw off, but alas, I forgot. I don't think attacking with the 12k teach was the plan. I don't know if that was the move. It might have been better just to go 5 and 5. But what do I know? We have the Rosinante to protect the Smoker this turn. I think we should go heavy into the rested teach at the very least to get rid of that off board. Which is probably better. Yeah, that'll work. Well, actually, I should have attacked 5 first, right? With Bonney. Yeah, I should have attacked 5 with Bonney first. So that kind of sucks. But remove this. Or hope to remove this. If he's got 2/2Ks, you know, it was meant to be. Never mind. We got there, boys. And I remember the Dawn this time. See? We're all good. Alright, so Smoker is safe, thanks to Rosie. Unless he's got another Swordman. Or he drew his third Von Augur. But I think we're okay. Zoro can finally attack next turn. It's looking up for us from here. Okay, 5 lead. Interesting. I will rest the teach. Weird play. Because if he has a 10 cost, why wouldn't he play the 10 cost first? To, you know, turn off my leader ability before he swings. If that's what he's going to do here. So that feels a little silly to do this way around if that's what he has. Another 5. Give you the 2k counter. We need to keep the Tashigi for now, just in case. Yeah, another 10 cost. Yeah, that's weird. He should have done that first. And then swung. Then he would have 2 blockers on board right now. I think that would have made a huge difference. So that's 3 teaches. We get a Luna here, which is good. Well, not really, because we only can rest or keep the Swordman frozen. And we still need to survive this turn. But we'll go 7 lead first. I mean, I guess not attacking with the teach wouldn't really matter here, because we're going to get one of the teaches anyway. Because he's going to have to guard this. And unless he has to counter in hands, he's going to lose the teach. That's on board. Because doing anything else here other than just swinging huge is not the play. Because Luna doesn't do anything valuable. And we don't have anything else to play down other than a Tashigi. I don't necessarily think we care about the 4 cost on board. I guess this will work. This is, what, 7? Yeah. Yeah, 14. we have to go face here. I just hope he doesn't have the counter to protect the Teach. So in a way, he didn't necessarily make the misplay because I was going to get one of the Teaches regardless. It just, I guess, steps, you know what I mean? He should have done it backwards, the other way. Therefore, that Teach wouldn't have been rested. But alas, he would have had the block, and I would have got a Teach regardless. So it's okay. But now, if he doesn't have another 10 beard, Zoro's going to win the match. Even if he can clear out the smoker here. Where is... Okay. Okay, so there's 2 Burgesses. Okay, that's what I was looking for here. And we have... I think that was 2 Kuzans. 1... 2 Von Augers. Yeah, okay, 2 Kuzans. 3 Von Augers. I think we're chilling. Oh, he has the other 2 in hand, and the last Von Auger in hand as well. Well played, man. Stressful game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the end of the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, I have a lot of fun, no matter what deck we're putting up here, whether it's off meta, on meta, something spicy, doesn't matter. I always have a good time doing content for you guys. I do hope you enjoy it. Because for me, this is something that I'm going to continue to do as long as One Piece is here. And as long as I'm happy and having a good time, as long as you guys are enjoying the content, that's all that matters here. Jewerly Bonney, we played against a lot of matchups today. Mostly Zoro, mostly aggro, and that's just kind of the nature of the game right now. Unfortunately, we did get to play a lot more Zoros than I wanted to, but that is a tough matchup. You guys got to see a bunch of different strategies on how to deal with it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depending on if Zoro draws the nuts, but we played against a couple Blackbeards as well today. I didn't necessarily have a difficult time beating Blackbeards. The last one that we did play against was my most stressful matchup of the day, hands down. I think we had some very close Zoro games too, but I'd rather play against Blackbeard than I would Zoro. Maybe a hot take, but it's fine. Either way, this has been my Bonney list that I've been cooking up. I'm having a good time with this one. I do think I may tinker this a little bit more before we head out to regionals and all that sort of thing. The Shanks, he didn't really come up as much. And I think that's because we have 2 copies versus the 3. The Doflamingo does help out for me, especially in those matchups where I know I can make do with him, like in Usopp, the Kid, and in Green Yellow Law. Those matchups, this is really good. Shanks is also really good there too, just because in those matchups when they're using the 8-cost Eustace Kid, he doesn't really come on board rested, but you play him, then you rest it, and then Shanks can pop it, or Doflamingo can freeze it the following turn. Both of these characters are really good in those matchups, especially into yellow decks. So this is why I decided to keep Dofi here. Also, against Usopp and stuff, it does help out in the late game. Now, the Zoro, I think this is definitely going to be your ace going forward, at least currently for this set. If things change, if we have to remove some Zoros, it'd be what it'd be. I think right now, with the meta being the way it is, when you have to deal with Eustace Kid, we have to deal with Blackbeard, that this deck heals a lot. Blackbeard, if you chain 2 9-cost Zoros back to back, you basically win the matchup. The Hawkins, on the other hand, he did come up today. I did use him quite a few times actually against the Zoro players. So this really did come in handy, being a 7k blocker here, which they can't remove, without multiple attempts, and he's able to rest bodies on board. He does quite well. The other upside to this is it's searchable out with Jewerly Bonney when you go second, so this is really, really nice. The downside to it, of course, it has no counter, and he does take up spots from either the Shanks slot or the Doflamingo slot. And then with the Dofi, like I already mentioned, this does take up slots in the deck in which you could utilize for another smoker or more blockers in the deck like Killer or Capone Veggie. But I do think Bonney has the most flexibility right now in the current metagame outside of Yamato. So this deck list is doing well for me. Again, I may tinker with it here and there. Before I head out, I'll let you guys know. Electrical Luna is definitely a hot pick for me. The other card that I was utilizing was Straw Sword. I'm not going to hold you. This is a very, very good card. And I think a lot of people are not expecting this. If you guys are playing up against a lot more Blackbeards than you would like to, Straw Sword might be something you can include. This will get you the W a lot of the times. And I did definitely miss it in our last matchup with Blackbeard. I would love to have had this, but I think if I add this to the deck, I have to cut out something else. And if I'm going to do that, it's very tough. Because it's either Hawkins, it's either Doflamingo to fit in 2 Straw Swords, and I still have 2 slots left, which could be Dofi or Hawkins or blockers. There's just a lot of flexibility with this deck. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions down in the comments below. Let me know what you're running with Bonney. Let me know what you guys are having success with. There's a lot of good cards here that you can utilize. And speaking of which, before we go, I want to shine the light on 5-cost Bonney here. If you guys are struggling into matchups with Usopp or Shanks, consider utilizing 5-cost Bonney, just because on curve, this really just stops the game when it comes to Shanks and Usopp. Because again, for Usopp, for example, they're playing down Rebecca on 7 Dawn each and every time. So if you're able to stall this out, at least for 1 turn, that stops a Rebecca into a Kyros play, which Kyros pops something back that's on board to your hand. So i.e. like your Cavendishes, your Carrots, or your Smoker. You can go ahead and drop the 5-cost Bonney and stall that out for at least 1 more turn until you're able to stabilize with something like a Tashigi to protect yourself from the Kyros bounce. It's a really good card there. The other option for the Bonney would be into Shanks. So Bonney helps out in that matchup where you know they're going to drop the 10-cost Shanks on board. You basically can stall it out for at least 1 more turn. Therefore, you can have options of dropping a Zoro in play or a Hody Jones. You don't necessarily have to drop a 9-cost Shanks right away, because a lot of the time your opponent's going to drop the 10-cost Shanks on board and not swing. Therefore, it's a little bit awkward for you to drop the 9-cost for that turn. So just something to consider. I think this card is kind of slept on a little bit and does have a niche, but in today's meta, it's actually pretty good. It's just very hard to fit into Jewerly Bonney, in which when you want to put in a bunch of other good stuff too. But in any case, this has been Pawseplays. Remember to hit that like button so we get these videos floating around as we always do. And good luck with your upcoming regionals and your store championships that you guys should be notified towards the end of this month, I think, depending on where you're at. So that should be a lot of fun. Either way, enjoy yourselves. Stay safe out there. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm going to head out.